Hey guys, Kick Knights here, and welcome back to another video. So I want to start off with giving a content warning on the following topics that I'll be discussing in this video. I'll be talking about these topics that are displayed on screen right now, so if any of you are not in the right headspace to stomach these subjects, you're more than welcome to go watch any of my more lighthearted content, or click off the video. But other than that, I hope you have a great day. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So this is a bit different than my usual content on the channel, but I wanted to talk about this movie because honestly an amazing movie that deserves more recognition. And that movie I'm talking about is Sound of Freedom. I went to go watch it with a friend of mine and wow. It has truly impacted me as it was something I've never seen before or thought much in depth. Sound of Freedom was directed by Alejandro Gomez Monteverde and was picked up by Angel Studios. Came out on July 4th, 2023, and what's interesting about this movie is the fact that it was supposed to come out a long time ago. But the movie got blacklisted for 5 years. It took 5 years for it to finally be out in theaters, which I personally find astonishing due to the fact that it took literal years for a movie that brings awareness about to come out. It was an actual real life case and it does a good job of spreading the message without depicting content that is too graphic or inappropriate. And it's just overall respectful when it comes to handling topics like such. While a movie like Cuties, which from what I've heard legit has straight up, because it depicted, I will never be able to comprehend how such movie would be able to be greenlit and be on a streaming service like Netflix. Netflix! It honestly baffles me knowing how this was allowed to be streamed on Netflix in the first place. But at the same time, I wasn't too surprised because they have a very bizarre show in particular that I'm pretty sure everyone knows. I'm not dropping names, but you know. Moving on, let me tell you what this movie's about. The movie's about a federal agent named Tim Ballard who rescued a little boy who was and learns that his sister is still being held captive alongside with other kids. So he decides to go on a mission and risk his life in order to find this little girl and proceeds to save many kids who were also. And like I mentioned earlier, this movie is based off an actual case with just a bit of movie magic. There's pictures at the end of the movie that were taken when the case was still going on, and I like that they added this in because it shows that yes, this is an actual tragedy that happened and not just some fictional scenario to make a cash grab or just something emotional. And something that I find really interesting about this movie is the fact that a lot of people are saying that the movie is quote unquote controversial, which is something that irritates me since I didn't know a topic about saving literal children from traumatic events could be seen as quote-unquote controversial. Since when did bringing awareness to become a taboo subject? It's something that happens every day and something that everyone should be aware of in order to decrease the yearly percentages of children and adults who go missing. And the fact that there's people out here treating it like it's a controversial subject is honestly horrible and says a lot about the person and how little to no care they have about other people in the subject in general. Then there's also the fact that people are sharing their experience with movie theaters trying to allegedly sabotage the function by saying that the function is full when it isn't, having the AC broken, having the audio not work, and other coincidental issues. Because of this, they give refunds because of these issues, and the message doesn't get spread because people don't bother to go watch it anymore due to these inconveniences. Personally, when me and my friend went to go watch it, our movie theater did not turn on the AC in that room, and it got really hot, which, by the way, we live in a goddamn desert, so we had just a wonderful experience, 11 out of 10. Chef's kiss, I would do this again, totally. But anyways, there's a video I found of people sharing their experiences about the alleged sabotaging. If you want to go ahead and see it after this video, you can. I'll have it linked in the description below. I just find it so interesting that this is happening since personally, I've never heard of this happening before and this has never happened to me either with like the AC not working. But moving on to something I want to mention before I talk about the next thing, that if you by any chance know who I'll be talking about next, please don't attack them. We don't like spreading hate on this channel, so like, I just want to point that out there. Anyways, I want to mention that I was watching videos that talked about the movie because I was curious on other people's opinions. I came across this video with this person saying that they didn't like the movie, which I found interesting because they mentioned that they weren't even planning on watching it, which in my opinion, if you want to talk about a movie and give your opinion on it, at least watch it before anything because it just makes you look biased since you haven't even watched the movie or have any knowledge on it to even criticize it. But anyways, when I looked at their comment section, I remember seeing comments saying how it seemed too much like a white savior complex or a savior complex in general since the movie involved more scenes with our main protagonist Tim Ballard, which I really don't understand why since the movie is based off the point of view of the case that Officer Ballard worked on, meaning it's based off his perspective and what he experienced when working on the case. I don't really see this as a savior moment since we're seeing it from his perspective. That's just my opinion though. Other than that, I want to now talk about the movie itself. When it comes to the movie itself, something I liked is that it didn't involve the child actors in any explicit scenarios for shock value. It mainly used your own thoughts against you to create a sense of dread and imagine what these kids must be enduring. I mentioned this because a lot of movies and shows will show straight up inappropriate scenes in order to shock the viewer, which I find distasteful most of the time because the shock value in certain medias, especially how it's done, is just so unnecessary, mostly when it comes to handling topics like but it didn't show anything horrid. Again, instead it makes you imagine the horrible crimes being committed, mostly when it comes to the aftermath of an event. It will cause you to overthink the situation and build up tension based on your thoughts. They mainly will start a scene involving a kid looking distressed and cut away from it after to create a fear on the viewer and let them know the type of hell these kids have to endure. There's also some scenes that show you how drastic are the long-lasting psychological impact after such injustices are partaken. It just makes you sit there and ponder what just happened, making you feel upset, sad, and disgusted, which is what I like. It didn't have to show you something disgusting to create tension and dread. I kid you not, throughout the movie, I was feeling angry and disgusted with what was going on, and there were times when I was close to tearing up because of the scenery, especially at the beginning of the scene. Shout out to my friend for comforting me throughout these scenes. It's a hard thing to think about these type of tragedies, mostly because this can sadly happen to anyone. It's overwhelming to even think about it, especially if you have kids, nieces and nephews, little cousins, or younger siblings, which is what I would think throughout watching this movie. This brings me to the next thing when it comes to this movie, which is its humor. I know it sounds surprising that a movie about a very serious topic has jokes, but let me explain. When serious movies try to add in jokes, most of the time it's done horribly and in very poor taste. They'll either be disrespectful or just so horribly timed. However, in this movie, I like the bits of comedy throughout it because it wasn't badly timed and it wasn't directed at what these kids were going through. It was mostly between the adults trying to cope with the stress. I know most viewers may not like comedy and serious movies, but I personally like what was done here since the movie is already overwhelming. So in a way, the mini jokes serve as a break from the overwhelming mix of strong emotions and harsh events. Other than that, the movie was pretty good. It handles the topic well and is pretty respectful. Again, it doesn't show inappropriate scenes involving the kids, which is something I appreciate, since for some reason, a lot of movies and shows just love to add weird and uncomfortable scenes, and it's done so badly it comes off as insensitive. I don't understand why it's so hard to not show or say anything weird or disgusting that involves minors, literal innocent beings. It astonishes me, but it's fucking Hollywood. So I don't know why it surprises me so much because of all the shady shit you hear that allegedly happens there. But anyways, overall, would I recommend this movie? I'd honestly say yes, because one, it's good and based on true events, so there's actual testimonies to back up the events and show you the mental and physical pain caused in these horrible events. And two, it does a good job on spreading awareness on a subject that is such a big problem that needs to be addressed in order for viewers to be informed and aware to take better care of their children and of themselves. But anyways, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like. If you want to see more of my content, then go ahead and subscribe. And lastly, if you guys would like to tell me your opinion on the movie, or if you'd like to recommend me something else to watch, then go ahead and tell me in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I hope you all have a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!